They have laid this out just like a page in a book.
Big developments in the trial of Lori Vallow Daybell today. The prosecution and the defense both rested. We'll tell you what happens next. Plus, a verdict in the lawsuit against former President Donald Trump, and Trump is going to have to pay up. Plus, hear from the Idaho Steelheads following the postponement and rescheduling of games due to the mall shooting in Allen, Texas over the weekend.
Live from CBS2, this is Breaking News.
Off the top, the prosecution and defense are done. Today, they both rested their cases in the murder trial of Lori Vallow Daybell. Also today, a major announcement. We will see the verdict live. As we've been telling you, cameras have not been allowed in the courtroom for the trial. That's been why you've been seeing the work of sketch artists. But Judge Stephen Boise today issued a ruling allowing a broadcast of the verdict to be read. So CBS2 will bring it to you live, both on air and online. Now, CBS 2's Angela Kerndl is at the Ada County Courthouse with today's developments.
The prosecution rested its case after requesting some amendments to the indictment. The defense rested its case later this afternoon, saying after meeting with Lori privately, they did not believe the state had proven its case. They did not call any witnesses, and Lori told the judge she would not be testifying. This morning, FBI analyst Nicole Heidemann returned to the stand for the prosecution. This is a sketch of her from when she testified earlier in the trial. Today, she talked about piecing together the James and Elena love story, which Chad wrote. After reviewing data from Lori's iCloud accounts, James was an alias for Chad and Elena was an alias for Lori. Heidemann told the court the story mirrored events in Chad and Lori's lives. It also included intimate interactions between James and Elena. Attorney General's investigator Nicholas Edwards testified next. He said he became involved in Tammy Daybell's death investigation in April of 2020. During his testimony, he talked about the attempted shooting of Tammy on October 9th, 2019. He revealed on the 9th and 10th there were 90 calls and texts between Chad, Lori, Alex Cox, and Zulema Pastinas. Based on his review of records, Edwards said this was a significantly higher amount than normal. Chad and Alex texted each other about a half hour before the attempted shooting. After the attempted shooting, there were 4 messages between the two again. Tammy died 10 days later, and as we've reported, she died from asphyxiation. And Judge Boise will meet with attorneys tomorrow to discuss jury instruction. A formal hearing will happen, and we'll have access to that. Closing arguments are set to begin on Thursday. After that, the jury will be given those instructions and begin their deliberations. Reporting live at the Ada County Courthouse, Angela Kerndl, CBS 2 News.
Angela, thank you. JJ's grandparents, Kay and Larry Woodcock, have been in court nearly every day. Here's what they're thinking about the trial and the verdict yet to come.
And you know, whatever the verdict is, that'll be what the verdict is. And it'll be 12 honest men and women on that court that has absolutely paid attention to everything and every word that has been said in there. And I'm proud of the prosecution. I'm proud of the defense. I'm extremely proud of the judge. He has run a really tight court. Sometimes too tight, but, you know, God bless him.
Also in court today, Trish Madsen. She used to live in Fremont County, now lives here in Boise, and knew of Chad Daybell before the children went missing. She told us she read some of the books that he published.
And I really admired him. I thought he was a great guy. I wanted to meet him. I'd read his website. And I'm so glad now that I did meet him. Yeah. It's heartbreaking.
CBS 2 is providing coverage of the trial on various platforms. Once a verdict comes down, of course, you'll be watching it live on air and online. We also have a podcast that you should check out. It provides insight and interviews along with audio from the courtroom. Episodes can be found on Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get podcasts. More breaking news. Former President Donald Trump has been found liable for battery and defamation in a lawsuit brought by author E. Jean Carroll. The jury awarding Carroll $5 million. Sinclair Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thuman has details and reaction from Trump.
Well, this happened very quickly. It was about a 3-week trial, yet it took the jury less than 3 hours to find Donald Trump liable for sexually abusing his accuser back in the mid-1990s. E. Jean Carroll alleged that Trump raped her in a department store dressing room one night. The jury rejected those specific claims of rape, but did say he sexually assaulted her and should pay almost $5 million in damages and for defamation. Trump did not attend the trial, and he refused to testify despite multiple opportunities, although he publicly claimed his innocence and did so in a taped deposition. He did, however, quickly respond Tuesday afternoon to the jury's decision on social media, writing, "I have absolutely no idea who this woman is. This verdict is a disgrace, a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time." Carroll's attorney saying right afterward, "We are very happy with the decision." Meanwhile, another question now, how much might this hurt his chances in the 2024 race? Trump has been accused of sexual misconduct by about 24 women, but this is the first time it's gone before a jury. Recent polling shows a majority of Americans believe Trump should face criminal charges in some of the multiple cases he faces, yet despite that, the same polls also had him up over President Biden by 7 points in a potential matchup. Either way, it is just more fodder for both his critics and his competition. And keep in mind, it was just over a month ago that Trump was indicted in New York for allegedly paying hush money leading up to the 2016 election to cover up an alleged affair with a former adult film star. In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
Nampa police need your help finding a woman on the run. This is an old mugshot of 27-year-old Crystal Pero of Middleton. Nampa police say she has outstanding warrants, and when they tried to arrest her on those warrants yesterday, she took off. She was last seen driving a black Audi sedan with no license plate. Officers had to break off pursuit because it just wasn't safe. And they have now added a felony eluding to the charges against her. Now, there's another wrinkle to this story. There were 2 men on motorcycles near where Pero was spotted. But when officers tried to talk to them, they too tried to flee. One of them didn't make it. 31-year-old Jacob Davis swerved his bike toward an officer, then lost control. He was taken into custody after a foot chase. That officer, by the way, injured his hand, had to be treated at the hospital. So Davis is now charged with battery on an officer, as well as resisting and obstructing. He's also being held on a federal warrant for distributing meth. Boise police arrest an out-of-state fugitive. Yesterday afternoon, police say 61-year-old Jeffrey Hosh was with an older man at a bank when the bank staff suspected that there was a scam going on here, that there was something happening. So police intervened. They say Hosh was trying to deceive the older man into giving him money as part of a Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes scam. Police say Hosh has outstanding warrants from Wisconsin and Florida. Last weekend, the Idaho Steelheads were supposed to face the Allen Americans in Game 2 of the Mountain Division Finals. That game, though, was never played because of that mass shooting at a nearby mall. Since then, Game 2 has been rescheduled. It will be in Boise tomorrow night. Luke Randall joins us now with what the players are saying about all of this.
Yeah, the team spoke today on the shooting, some of them very shaken up in the day right after the shooting because this was a mall that they frequented. They had been in it the day prior, and whenever they had games in Allen, they would always go to the mall right there. Now, Steelheads head coach Everett Sheen spoke on the matter and gave his thoughts on the entire situation.
You don't ever want to see that, and some things are bigger than hockey, so, we may be foes on the ice, but, we have their back off the ice and in solidarity with them for sure.
Head coach Everett Sheen acknowledging the lives lost in Allen, Texas over the weekend, the shooting gripping the city and the nation. Game 2 of the Steelheads American Series was scheduled for Saturday night in Allen, but the shooting, less than a mile from the arena, required that the game be called off. Players expressing their thoughts on the tragedy, noting the mental toll it took.
Something like that happens, it's hard to really play a hockey game, so we were happy that maybe it got postponed a little bit, and obviously, mentally it's a tough situation. You know, you can't really say anything about it because, you know, you just don't really think about that ahead of time. And
the series has been adjusted and now resumes for 4 straight games in Boise. But before the puck drops, the Steelheads plan to have a tribute for the lives lost. The exact details are not yet finalized, but both teams will wear Allen Strong stickers on their helmets for the rest of the series. Coach Sheen noted that it's tough for players to get back into hockey after what happened, but added that him and the coaching staff have worked to make that transition as easy as it can be.
Well, we took a couple days off. You know, we've talked about it as a group and kind of, you know, reset. And like I said, thankfully, none of our group was injured or in the face of danger. So, but you know, the guys were a little shook up being in that experience. But you know, we've talked about it and regroup. And you know, we ultimately don't want to go back down to Allen, so we got to get our focus on this week here.
Now, puck drop for Game 2 tomorrow night at 7:10 p.m. Assuming the tribute is before the game, we'll let you know what time that is when the Steelheads announce it. At Idaho Central Arena, Luke Randall, CBS 2 News.
A Month of Giving is brought to you by Optum Idaho.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and CBS 2 is highlighting local mental health organizations. Today, it's the Idaho Resilience Project. CBS 2's Marcos Guadarrama is in the newsroom to tell us about the services it provides.
Well, the Idaho Resilience Project prides itself on engaging leaders, community members, and people to thrive in their environments and be resilient despite challenges and the problems we all face on a daily basis.
We are a huge network of collaboratives across the state. So we have regional collaboratives in all 7 of the health and welfare regions. And our goal is really to create a system of support across Idaho, mainly for kids and families, in order for them to help just overcome the adversities that we face on a daily basis.
Now, Katie Francis with the organization says a big part of understanding trauma is through education, in particular with community leaders. That's what they base their training on.
We have done so much training and education, not only just within like your traditional mental health sector, but we've done a lot of work with community partners and first responders, lots of teachers.
Now, Francis says it's important for the organization to work with those who work directly with kids and families by educating them on how to deal with those going through traumatic situations.
When it comes to working with any type of, especially with children of trauma, you have got to really focus in on those people that have direct connections with kids on a daily basis. There's so much that happens when kids are carrying that weight around. So everybody that they interact with needs to have that trauma-informed mindset.
And for more information on the organization or to see how you can get involved, head to our website where I posted a link. In the newsroom, Marcos Guadarrama, CBS 2 News.
Well, what a difference. Today we're seeing 24 hours ago, there was a line of thunderstorms that was rumbling through the Treasure Valley. We'll talk about what's in store, especially for the Mother's Day weekend. That forecast coming up next.
Also, restricting a surgical option for breast cancer patients. Why a coding change is sparking debate in the medical community.